Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Diego with my beautiful wife, Karina from Venezuela. We hope everybody's doing well. Unless you're a squirrel, if you are a squirrel and you live in New York State, your life is in jeopardy. Seriously. Anyway, this is your K1 visa channel, your green card channel. This is where you get all this free information on how to process your K1 visa, how to process your green card, and your spousal visa, and your tourist visa. Christopher Reese is first up to bat. Christopher, good evening, Christopher Reese. How are you and how is your family? Now remember, okay, we're not immigration attorneys, and I'm not an immigration attorney. I don't give any legal advice, zero legal advice. And I don't work for USCIS. And I don't work for any of these companies that charge you all this crazy money to process a green card. It's easy to do. And a K1. Christopher Reese, fantastic. And you all, we are fantastic also. But I was watching the news. Okay, now we got friends like Francois who live in New York State. And the government of New York invaded a man's house with a warrant with about 12 armed police officers in New York, and they took his pet squirrel that he'd been raising, which he had in his house for 7 years. Never had a problem with the squirrel or the raccoon. Never a problem. And the government of New York said, well, we're going to take your squirrel because and then the squirrel was like, don't freaking mess with me, bit the person, the government official's finger or whatever. Good on the squirrel, right? And then the government of New York took the squirrel and the raccoon from this family's house and killed them both, executed them, because they thought the squirrel might have rabies. Well, I've been living in Florida for over 40 freaking years. I've been around squirrels for over 40 years, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I've had squirrels bite me, nip me, run up my jacket, run up my shirt, jump on me from the trees. Never, ever, ever once was I afraid of getting rabies, because squirrels don't carry rabies. They're day creatures. Okay. Anyway, if you live in New York, I'm sure you're very proud of your government because they invaded a man's house, took his pet, and then killed it because they thought it had rabies. Total BS. Communism at its finest. If you live in New York State, I recommend you get the hell out of there. But let's talk about K1 visas and green cards and spousal visas. What's the difference between a spousal visa and a K1 visa? Well, you know that spousal visa, you're already married to a foreign national. If you've been married 2 years or less, you get a CR1 green card. If you've been married longer than 2 years, you get a IR1 green card, immediate relative. Okay, that's the difference. Is it cheaper to get a green card from a marriage overseas than waiting in the United States on a K1? Yeah, it's much quicker, but that's okay. It's much quicker to get it's more expensive to get the K1, but you're with your family. You are reunited with everybody. Christopher Reese, question for you. Filling out the I-130, okay. Have met the payment requirement of 2 to 3 years. I don't make it on the short form. You're talking about the I-134, not the I-130. The I-130 is when you want to bring mom to America, or if you're on a spousal visa. You're in a K1 visa, right? So you're filling out the I-134, not the I-130. There you go. Let's keep on. There you go, Christopher. I'm going to get you back on the right track. I've met the payment requirements. So you made the income requirements of 2 or 3 years. I didn't make it. I was on short-term disability. Do I need to write a note to support this? I'm a salary paid person. Yeah. If you were on disability, write an affidavit, not a note. You write a very strong letter called an affidavit and explain the reason why you're on disability, or what if you were on disability, even if you were a salary paid person. You got to explain it in an affidavit. Okay? So it's not hard to do, but you're going to address it to, where have you filed your K1 visa yet? Have you sent it to the lockbox in Louisville, Texas? Have you submitted it? Or is it still at your house? Where is your K1 visa at right now? Where are you at in the process? Is the K1 visa on your dining room table at your home? Or what are you doing? Or are you trying to get a visa interview? Have you got a visa interview scheduled? I'm trying to remember. You're waiting on the NOA2. Okay, so you filed the NOA, you filed the K1 visa, you got your NOA1 letter, and now you're waiting for the approval with the NOA2. No problem. So don't worry about the I-134 until you get closer to scheduling the visa interview, because the addition date on the I-134 is probably going to change. If you submit an I-1, no, don't plan ahead. You cannot plan ahead with a K1 visa, especially when it comes to documents, because they freaking changed the addition dates on the documents. So what you could fill out the I-134, practice filling it out, and have a copy on your desk or on your dining room table, and have it so you understand the process. But you got to be careful. You don't want to send an I-134 with an expired addition date when you get your visa interview scheduled. Okay, Christopher, tell me you understand. I could have filled out. I filled out an I-134 and I submitted it with the K1 visa application. By the time we got to the visa interview, I had to redo the I-134 because the addition date changed. All right, there you go. Let me see. Jolly, November is here, Diego and Karina. Happy Saturday. Okay, we'll give a Jolly a Mountain Dew salute. And this is a Mountain Dew salute for a Jolly for wishing us a happy Saturday. It's the weekend, right? It's the weekend, and I'm here helping you guys with your green cards and your K1 visas. And I'm trying to save squirrels in New York State. If you own a squirrel in New York State and it becomes famous on Instagram or whatever, the government of New York is going to come after it. I'm serious. It's insane. If you live in New York, get the heck out of there. Move somewhere like Florida or Nevada or Texas. Get the hell out of New York. It's a dumpster fire communist state. My opinion. And I'm entitled to my opinion, right? So Christopher, you're working ahead. Francois Livingston, good evening, Diego and Karina. Francois, what is your governor doing? Francois, you live in upstate New York. Do you have any pet squirrels? Do you have a pet squirrel? If you have a pet squirrel, you better hide it, because the government's going to come after it. Your state, your government sucks, Francois. We got to get you out of there. When Hamid gets his green card, we got to get you out of New York. Okay? The place is a dumpster fire. You can't even have a freaking pet squirrel. I had a pet squirrel for years when I was living in the countryside. I was in the countryside in Florida, and squirrels would come in the friggin' house. The government didn't care. The government wouldn't stick their nose in my business because it's not their job. Squirrels don't carry rabies. They're not dangerous. They might bite you like cats can bite and dogs, but they can't kill you with rabies. Mountain Dew salute to all the squirrels in the world. We love you guys. I may have to give these squirrels protective status here in Florida. I'm going to start contacting all the squirrels that live in New York and telling them to get out of there. Come live in Florida. So Francois, how are you, Francois? And Ajali says, happy Saturday. And Christopher's working ahead. Well, if you fill out the I-134, Christopher, don't be surprised when the addition date changes and then you have to redo the whole thing over again. But that's okay. It's good practice, okay? I filled out an I-134. I submitted it with the K1 visa application. And lo and behold, a year and a half later, I had to redo the whole thing. Let me see. Jolly, question. Do you have a video of all the documents my fiance needs to take to his medical? It's easy. The documents you need for the medical is you need to bring I don't think I have a video for that, but that's a good idea for a video. You got to bring a copy of the NOA2 letter, the approval. You got to show the doctor you got an approved K1 visa. He does. Your fiance has an approved K1 visa. Okay. You got to have your passport. You got to bring your birth certificate. You got to bring your vaccination records, and you got to bring the letter of persons who are going to be on the K1 visa, which is what the FTP K1 FTP letter, the welcome letter from the NVC. So you need the welcome letter from the NVC, your passport, your birth certificate, your vaccination records, and the NOA2 approval letter. Okay, that's what you need for the medical exam. Josias Pazzelli, Diego, I just got a letter from the bank asking me if I'm a U.S. citizen or a resident, living majority of the year in USA, or a non-citizen, non-resident. You are a non-citizen resident of the United States right now. Ajali, I live in Long Island. My friend lives in Long Island. Okay. The taxes are crazy. Long Island's a beautiful place to live. You got a beautiful place to live. But the government sucks, and the taxes are just out of control. But I love New York. I used to live in Staten Island. Well, for a very short period of time, I was in Staten Island. But I got out of there. I moved to Florida in 1982. Thank you. So Josias, and they told me because taxes. Yeah, you're going to be paying taxes, Osiris, in the United States of America. You are a permanent resident of the United States. You're just waiting on your green card. They told me because of taxes, I don't know what to do. What do? You tell them you're a legal permanent resident waiting on your green card. That's what you tell them. I got to choose an option and let them know what condition I am. Your condition is legal permanent resident. That's what your status is. I just sent the adjustment of status paperwork off, created a personal bank account a month after. There you go. You're waiting on your green card. Your status is legal permanent resident. But you're not a U.S. citizen. Not yet. You will be. You're going to be a U.S. citizen, right, Osiris? Let me see. Yes, you are going to be paying taxes in America, Osiris, as a legal permanent resident. You're going to be paying taxes. Unless Trump gets elected, and he's already said he wants to get rid of income taxes because it's criminal, right? Taxation is what? Theft of your hard-earned money, right? So, a Mountain Dew salute to getting rid of income taxes because it's not good. Let me see. Christopher Reese was on short-term due to chemical burn on the foot and the bone. Oh, man, that's not good. 7 surgeries. Surgical 7 tiempo in hospital. That's not good. Later had to recover. I can understand that. So I could go back to work as a maintenance technician. Understand. So write an explanation, Christopher. That's all you got to do is just write an explanation. It's called an affidavit. And whatever state you live in, you're going to address it to USCIS. But wherever you live, there's a specific way to fill out an affidavit. So you got to find out what is the process for writing an affidavit in wherever you live. Hosias, 1 month after I got married, and now they're asking me if I'm a U.S. citizen. No, you're not a U.S. citizen, but yes, you're going to pay taxes. Am I a resident or am I not? You are a resident. You will check option, I am a resident, non-U.S. citizen. Non-U.S. citizen, resident. Karina. Non-U.S. citizen, resident of Florida. Legal permanent resident of Florida. She's paying taxes. She's paying taxes. Biden's got a few weeks left in office, right? And Karina's helping to pay for his U-Haul truck. I'm paying for if all the taxes that I pay this year go to pay for Biden's U-Haul and his move to Delaware or wherever the hell he's going to move to, I'm happy. So Hosias, you know what to pick, right? You know what you're going to pick, right? Francois is living the dream, Diego. Francois is happy. She's with Hamid finally after all this time, all this stress. She flew all the way, Francois flew all the way to the United Arab Emirates, saved Hamid's K1 visa because he was having a bad day, and it took a woman to fix it, right? Good job, Francois. Christopher Reese, know how to catch a squirrel. In Florida, you can hunt squirrels for food. You can keep squirrels as pets. Okay? And the state of Florida will not bother you. The government in Tallahassee won't bother you. If you have a pet squirrel and your squirrel loves you and you feed him every day or her, the state of Florida is not going to come in your house with 20 or 15 armed freaking men or women and take your pet and lock you out of your house for 5 hours and won't let you in the house to use the bathroom without a permission slip. New York State is a freaking communist septic tank. And if you live there, please change your government. If you don't want to leave New York, change your government, please. My family years ago were New Yorkers. Years ago, my aunt worked in the World Trade Center. She's rolling over in her grave watching these communist Marxists destroy New York State. I'm serious. She's rolling over. She's like, what the heck? What's going on? You can't even have a freaking pet squirrel? Okay. Josias from Argentina. What condition am I if I send the adjustment of status? I'm waiting for it. You are a legal permanent resident. The bank want to know because of taxes. You are a legal permanent resident, Osias. You are in status as a legal permanent resident. I don't have the receipt of notification yet. Don't worry about it. You have your I-797, you have your NOA2 letter. You have your I-94, right? You got your I-94. That is your green card that you're going to use as that's your legal permanent residency status, your I-94, while you're waiting for your green card. Don't worry if it expires, you're good. You're a legal permanent resident. Josias, I got you to America from freaking Argentina, right? You were stressing it out. You were worried about this, worried about that. And I keep you on the right path. And you have your green card now already in process, right? Listen to me, Josias. And I'm going to give the president of Argentina a Mountain Dew salute. I love that guy. I wish Venezuela would get a president like that, like your president. Larry Piercy. Piercy is on the bridge. Now, Larry, you were in the Marine Corps. The only bridge you were ever on was the bridge going to Pensacola from Santa Rosa County to Escambia County. Unless you were on a ship in the Marines and you snuck up and went up on the bridge just to be nosy to see what the Navy was doing. Larry, you've never been on a freaking bridge. You're in the Marines, right? You lived in trees and tents, right? You didn't go on ships. I was on ships. I know what it's like on the bridge. I stood a bridge watch. JL phone talkers, 4 o'clock in the morning, looking for the mail buoy. Anyway, Bud Garcia. Hello, Diego and Karina. What's going on, Bud? Now, Bud Garcia is in Washington State, which is where Starbucks was originated from. Starbucks was created in Washington State. So Washington State is famous for Starbucks. And Bud Garcia's wife is from Thailand. And we had to drag Bud over the finish line. We got him, pulled him over the finish line, and helped him get his Thai wife's K1 visa successfully, right, Bud? Let's see here. Francois, isn't the confirmation page from the DS-260 a must? If you're in a spousal visa, if you're in a K1 visa, it's a DS-160. I gave it to Hamid for his medical and it didn't come back. Well, you gave Hamid a printout of the DS-160, Francois. not the DS-260. The DS-260 is filled out by a sponsor who is married to a foreign national. But you weren't married to Hamid. You had to bring him to America. So you filled out a DS-160, right? And they take it. The embassy takes it. Okay, Francois, making sure you don't get confused. They take it. The embassy took Karina's DS-160, and it disappeared into wherever. It went up in space with the extraterrestrials. A flying saucer flew over and took all of her paperwork. Boom, it's gone. Right? That's how you got to think about the embassy. Make sure you don't give the embassy your original documents. You need those. Okay? Right? Mm-hmm. All right. Let me see. Christopher Reese, I will look it up. Oh, thank you. Okay. Paulino Gomez. Hi, Diego and Kuna. About the medical exam for the green card. We sent the packet with the forms to USCIS and we wait until they say it's time to do it. Paulina, what? Repeat. Hi, Diego and Karina, about the medical exam for the green card. When you get to America, you repeat the medical exam and get a brand new 693 signed off by the doctor. You get a brand new medical exam signed off by the doctor and vaccinations. And then you include that, and then that will be in a sealed white envelope with eyes only, Homeland Security, USCIS. And you put that in a document protector in your green card application. That way you won't get a freaking RFE for the medical exam because you're going to redo it. As soon as Karina got to America, first thing I did was call the doctor up, the civil surgeon. I said, hey, I need a green card medical exam for my fiance. We're getting married soon. He said, okay. Well, his administrative assistant said, okay. I sent the administrative assistant Karina's vaccinations in a PDF email. She looked at it. She emailed me back. Everything's good. Fantastic. The vaccinations are up to date for a green card. Come in on Friday at 9 o'clock. We'll do the medical exam. We drove to Pensacola. She had her medical exam. They signed the 693. The doctor signed the 693 and the vaccination record and put it all in a form in a white envelope, sealed it up for USCIS eyes only, Homeland Security. And that went in a document protector and it went in Karina's green card application. Let me see. Paulina, we sent the packet with the forms to USCIS and we wait until they say it's time to do it. No, you got to do the medical exam first and then include it in the green card application. You don't wait for USCIS to send you an RFE. Hey, where's the medical exam? Where's the vaccination records? You got to do the medical exam and the vaccination certification and put it in the green card application as part of your package. Christopher Reese, you climb a tree and act like a nut to catch a squirrel. Look, that's a man who's look. Listen, if you live in New York, I want you to go out. If you live in New York State, I want you to round up as many squirrels as you can and put them in a box and bring them to another state, far away from New York. Apparently, the government of New York seems to think that you can get rabies from a squirrel. That's like saying you can get COVID from a rattlesnake. You can't get rabies from a freaking squirrel. So the government of New York went in there and killed this guy's squirrel because they were afraid of the squirrel. Okay? The government of New York, you elected a bunch of Marxist, commie, left-wing, tyrannical dictators. Just my opinion. I'm sorry if you live in New York. I love New York. I want to take Karina to New York. We're going to go eat at some famous restaurants in New York. We're going to go up the Empire State Building. We're going to go to Ground Zero. We're going to take the Hudson River boat tour. We're going to go to Ellis Island. We're going to go see Statue of Liberty. We're going to do all these touristy things and have a great time. And then we're going to get the hell out of there. I lived in Staten Island. Honestly, I would rather live in the Lion's Den with David than live in New York. place is a freaking disaster. It's just like California. I mean, I love California. The people are wonderful. The government's horrible. Francois, I'm on fire tonight. Well, I gotta be. I mean, I'm here to help you with your K1 visas and your green cards and your spousal visas, but I gotta help people who live in foreign countries. I'm trying to educate them on our government. Okay? If you live in California, you can't buy a gasoline-powered car, a brand new one, in 2035. The governor of California said you are no longer allowed to buy a gasoline-powered brand new car starting in 2035. Who in the hell does he think he is? Who does he think he is? If I want to buy a brand new Mercedes gasoline-powered SL550 in Los Angeles, I'm going to frickin' buy one. The governor Newsom can kiss my frickin' butt. I'm serious. We're getting close to an election, guys. We're a few days away from being communist or capitalist. I want to be capitalist. Let me see. Josias from Argentina. The thing, Diego, is I don't have a green card to be called legal permanent resident. No, you have an I-94. That says you had a face-to-face interview with a Border Patrol officer, and that is your temporary status of green card while you're waiting for your green card. That is your permission slip to be in America. So if the bank says, well, you got to prove you're a legal permanent resident, so you you get a copy of your I-94 and you send it to them. You get a copy of your NOA2 letter, your approved K1 visa, your I-94. You're a legal permanent resident waiting on your freaking green card. Karina had to do the same thing. Well, you're a citizen? No. Are you a legal permanent resident? Yes. Can you prove it? Yeah. Here's my I-94. Come on, Josias, quit stressing this. Josias, I'm in limbo. No, you're not in limbo. You are in the United States of America waiting for your freaking green card as a legal permanent resident. You check the box, legal permanent resident. Check the box, legal permanent resident. Because you are, if you were not a legal permanent resident, you would be deported. Well, I don't know, under Biden couldn't, I don't think so under Biden, but if you were not allowed to be in America, you wouldn't be here. You are in status as a legal permanent resident waiting on your green card. Okay? That's all you want. You're good. Larry, LOL. Francois, are alligators allowed as pets in Florida? No, you cannot have an alligator as a pet in Florida. But there are millions of alligators in Florida. But you can't have one as a pet. Because alligators like to eat people. Okay? They're dangerous. Squirrels don't eat people. They're like having a pet hamster or a guinea pig. Or a cavie, as they call it, right? A guinea pig, isn't that a cavie? A squirrel is like having a pet hamster, except they don't need a freaking wheel to run around, and they can run around your house. They can climb the curtains, and they don't have rabies. And the freaking government of New York has got no business going into that man's house, taking that squirrel, taking it from him, and then executing that squirrel with a lethal injection. The government of New York can kiss my ass. Mountain Dew salute. Sorry, Karina. Mountain Dew salute to all the squirrels that live in New York State. Go get them and go rescue them. Bring them to Florida. Anyway, let's see. Alligators are not allowed as pets in Florida, Francois. They're not, but you can't kill them. They're protected. Alligators are protected. If you see an alligator in your backyard because it came out of the swamp because you live on a lake, you're not allowed to kill it. You got to call animal control. Let them relocate it. They'll pick up the alligator. They'll tape up his beak, his mouth. They'll pet him on the head. It's a good boy. And they'll relocate the alligator away from your house. They won't shoot it. The state of New York, the government there has lost its freaking mind. Let me tell you something. When the government of New York invaded that man's house and took his pet that he had for 7 years and killed it in a Democrat-ran state like New York, that is probably going to sway the election for Trump. People love their pets. They love their pets. Do you have a pet? Don't you have a pet? Do you love your pet? What if the government came in with 12 armed freaking agents and took it from you, then executed it with an injection because they were scared of it? If that happened in Florida, there would be a lawsuit, okay, flying up the backside of that government agency quicker than you can shake a stick. They would be sued for millions. Let me see. Christopher Reese was on ships to never been on the bridge, was stuck in the engine room. Christopher, Mountain Dew salute for the engine room. Now, did you work on, Christopher, did you work on Morse Fairbanks engines? I was stationed on a ship that had Morse Fairbanks engines, diesel. You know, those fantastic carbon generating diesel engines. Fantastic engines, never broke down. But Garcia, LOL. Francois, it's a DS-160. Once Hamid gave it to the immigration officer, the consul officer of the embassy in the United Arab Emirates, it's gone. It becomes invisible. It no longer exists. The visa gets approved. Isaac, I'm here. Time to annoy you with questions. Well, come on. How long from beginning to end to bring my girlfriend here? Well, where is she? Where's your girlfriend? And she's not your girlfriend, she's your fiance. She's not your girlfriend. Isaac, number one, when you are in a K1 visa process, you don't have a girlfriend or a boyfriend. You have a fiance. I'm not saying you have a boyfriend. I'm saying, Isaac, you don't have a girlfriend. And if it's a woman, you don't have a boyfriend because you are in a fiance visa. You're in a fiance visa. So what does that mean, fiance visa? It means you are engaged to a foreign national. We had a fantastic engagement party on December 24th, 2021 in Bogota, Colombia, in street clothes. We didn't get up in all this Colombian stuff. We wore regular clothes. We had all our family, and we had an engagement party. We took lots of pictures. And those pictures with our engagement party went in the K1 visa application. You got to have an engagement party if you're going to be in a fiance visa, you want to get married to somebody, right? You're going to marry that lady of your dreams, right? Right? Or the guy of your dreams, right? You got it? Have an engagement party included in the K1 visa application. If you forget to have an engagement party, or if you have an engagement party, and you forgot to include it in the K1 visa application, or if you have your engagement party after you submitted your K1 visa application, you submit your K1 visa application. Isaac, listen to me. You submitted your K1 visa application, and then you have your engagement party. Bring those photos of that engagement party to the K1 visa interview. Okay. So Isaac, she's from Colombia. She's your fiance, not your girlfriend. Good to see the correction. And she's from Colombia. And I see that you spelled Colombia correctly too. You spelled Colombia with an O, not with a U. So you're going to get a Mountain Dew salute for spelling Colombia the right way. Okay? So the question is, how long from beginning to end to bring my girlfriend here? I would say from Bogota, Colombia, that's where the embassy is, I would say 14 months. Francois Livingston, when do you do the medical exam for the green card? Like yesterday? Is there a time frame it's good for? Francois, you need to go with Hamid and go get the medical exam done like on Monday. Okay? You got to find a civil surgeon that's authorized by the U.S. State Department to do medical exams for green cards. I know that you're top of the class. Okay? I know you found one, right? You found a civil surgeon that can do medical exams for green cards in upstate New York, right? So Francois is nodding her head, yes. Okay. On Monday, go get the medical exam done. And it's good for 6 months. Go get it done on Monday. You don't have to be married to get it done. but you got to get the medical exam done and you got to recertify the vaccinations. Get the 693 done and signed and sealed, and don't open it. Don't be nosy. What's in here? Okay. Francois says, I'll call the civil surgeons right here in town. Okay, Francois, on Monday, call the civil surgeon and schedule an appointment. You're getting married Friday. Mountain Dew salute to Francois. She's getting married on Friday. Boda is a Vienna's. That's very soon. Go get the medical exam done. Francois, go get it done. Let me see. Ajali, I'm confused, Diego. Well, I will unconfuse you. I thought I had to send you original copies to my fiancée. Are you original copies of what? Are you telling me I can email copies of the documents for the K1 visa interview? No. Ajali, your beneficiary must have the original I-134 signed by you and dated by you. The original I-134. Okay, the original. Everything else can be copies. Your tax returns, your W-2s, your tax transcripts, the NOA2 letter, you can PDF it. You can send that as a PDF copy. Your tax returns, your 1040s. You got to redo the letters of intent to get married. That has to be original. So you got to write a letter of intent to get married. And what are you going to put in the letter of intent to get married? What are you going to include in the letter of intent to get married? I'm a U.S. citizen. I'm legally free and able to get married. And I will promise to do so in 90 days upon my beneficiary's arrival in the United States. You got to put those three things in the letter of intent to get married. I'm a U.S. citizen. I'm legally free and able to get married, and I promise to do so within 90 days. And then your beneficiary, like Karina, she wrote her letter of intent to get married in Colombia in Spanish. She didn't have to translate it into English, okay? The embassy said, no, you can leave it in Spanish. What did Karina put in her letter of intent to get married? She said, I'm a citizen of Venezuela. I'm a legal resident of Colombia. I'm legally free and able to marry Diego, and I promise I will do so in 90 days when I come to America. So Karina wrote hers in Spanish. I wrote mine in English. I signed mine. Karina signed hers and dated it. I flew to Colombia on October 31st of 2023. October 31st, okay, which was Halloween. I landed at the airport in Bogota, and there's all these goblins and ghosts and skeletons are meeting me at the airport. I'm like, what the heck? Did we have a zombie apocalypse? What happened at the airport, for crying out loud? But it was Halloween. You know, I thought it was a bunch of Joe Biden voters. But no, it was Halloween. So anyway, the original documents for the visa interview is going to be the I-134 signed and the letters of intent to get married, and your beneficiary has to bring the original birth certificate plus a copy, plus the police certificate or certificates. So, Ajali, you need the original I-134 and the original letter of intent to get married, and everything else can be PDF copied and printed. PDF. Larry Pierce, okay, Paulino Gomez, I got it. Thank you. Larry Piercy, New York sucks. No, New York doesn't suck, Larry. The government sucks. The government of New York is a dumpster fire of communists. You got a small minority of people, okay, with their boot on the neck of the good people of New York. The good people of New York need to get rid of that boot and get rid of that government. New York's great. The people are wonderful. I love New Yorkers, guys. But you elected a bunch of Marxist communists to run your state, and it's destroying your state. Christopher Reese, pizza in New York and Chicago, off the chain. Good to visit, but not to live there. But this is my opinion. Right. I love New York pizza. I love Chicago pizza. I'll take Karina to eat pizza in New York one day. Okay? We're going to go to New York. I love New York. I want to take Karina to the Empire State Building. I want to take her to the top. I want to take her to the highest level. I think there's an IMAX up there too, if I remember. Ajali is laughing. Yeah, there we go. I want everybody smiling today. Columbia Isaac, you spelled Columbia correctly, and she's your fiance, not your girlfriend. Christopher, nuclear reactors, both primary side and secondary side, or as we used to in the shiny side and the dirty side. The dirty is the propulsion side, and the shiny side is the reactor control. Okay, but don't be putting anything out on this channel that's secret. Don't, Christopher. We know you are a nuclear genius. Okay, be careful what you put on here about engines on Navy ships if it's nuclear powered. Let's see here. Isaac, haha, thanks. You're welcome. Francois, go on Monday. Schedule the medical exam for Hamid, and this get it done. We'll do about the medical exam. Okay, there you go. Ajali is congratulating Francois, and Francois is saying thank you to Ajali. Your turn coming up soon before you know it. That's right. And Ajali says, I can't wait, Francois. I can't wait. I want to see Ajali get her reunited and everything, and the wedding, and it's all fantastic. It's fantastic. Larry Piercy, congrats. Franny Boom. Ajali, thank you, Diego. I understand now. He already has everything except the original I-134. Okay. Get the original I-134 and FedEx it or UPS it. Or do what I did. I just got it all together in a folder, and I jumped on a plane and flew to Colombia with the original. You know, and I got immigration. I've made so many trips to Colombia, and there's this one person that just didn't like me. This one lady, okay, I don't know. She was just a real pain in the, you know, in the. She was just a horrible person. You know, I gave her my passport, and she took my passport, and oh, we got a problem with the passport. I said, really? Okay, what freaking problem this time? And then she didn't answer me. She said, come here, siga me. Come with me, follow me. I said, okay, where are we going? I'm going to talk to your boss. Okay. And she gave my passport to her boss, and he took it and got his little eye thing out. And he's looking at my passport like this. And he looks at her, and he's like, why the hell did you bring this American to me? His passport's fine. What is your problem? Like, he's looking at her, and I'm looking at her going, what the heck is your problem? But she's just one of those pain in the ass immigration officers. You know, one of those power trippers. But I got her twice. On all the trips I made to Colombia, I got her twice. And both times she said my passport had a problem. But on the second time, I had my cedula. The Colombian government gave me a visa to live in Colombia for a year. And there she is giving me a hard time over my passport. Oh, there's a problem. I don't know what's up with your passport. You need to come with me and talk to my boss. I said, well, how about that? No problem. I'm laughing to myself because this is like the second time she's giving me a hard time. I said, no problem. Let's go talk to your boss. So as soon as I got to her boss, I gave him my cedula. He looked at it. He goes, oh, you're a legal resident of Colombia. I said, cha-ching. Why am I here? Why are you? And then he's looking at this woman. Why are you giving this guy a hard time over his passport, you dummy? Go back to your freaking cubicle. And he said, welcome to Colombia. Let's see here. Larry Piercy's congratulations to Francois. Ajali understands the original I-134. Christopher Reese is heck to the nah. Larry Piercy, same thing. Garbage is in control. But aren't we garbage? Didn't President Biden say all these people that don't support Kamala Harris are all garbage? Didn't he say that? Or is the White House trying to change the narrative and change the official government record? But you know, anyway, who cares, right? Biden's out of here soon. I'm not saying that. I'm not even a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm independent. I don't care what you are, Democrat, Republican. I couldn't care less. I just want to help you get your freaking visa and your green card. That's what I'm here for. I don't care what your politics are. I'm just giving you my opinion on if somebody, you know, calls me garbage because of an opinion, then they have the problem, not me. That's their problem. Let me see here. Larry Piercy. I have a lawnmower with a shiny side and a dirty side. It breaks and straps. Larry, you're a Marine. That's for real. Larry Piercy, same thing. Garbage is in control. Mackenzie Owens is in the house. Any tips on biometrics? Is it safe to reschedule? Biometrics for the visa or biometrics for the green card? Which one? Which biometrics are we talking about? Are we talking biometrics for the K1 visa or biometrics for the green card? If you are talking about biometrics for the K1 visa, when you paid the $265 consular fee, the green card biometrics, okay. When you file for your green card, you're going to pay $1,440 for the green card. That doesn't include the cost of a work permit. That's just for the green card and the biometrics. When immigration open up your box of green card stuff, and they pull out your check for $1,440, they cash it. Then a few days, a week or so later, you're going to get a letter scheduling your biometrics. Remember, when you file a K1 visa application, the sponsor or the beneficiary has to schedule the visa interview and the biometrics. When you file for a green card in the United States, immigration schedules the biometrics for you after you pay for it in the green card application fee. The green card and the biometrics is $1,440 for one person who's over 16. That's for an adult. The work permit is $260. And if you want to get advanced parole, you want to go, you get to America, and you got to go back and see your family. You missed them. You've only been gone for 2 weeks and you want to fly back. If you want to get advanced parole, it's $630. Okay? So if you add that up for one person, that's how much it will be if you want to go biometrics, green card, work permit, advanced parole. That's the total cost for one person who's an adult. So Mackenzie Owens, if you have filed for your green card, if your green card is in process, you're going to get a letter from immigration telling you where your biometrics is going to be, what day and what time, and the location and the office floor. It's going to be on floor whatever building it is. Okay? So let's see here. Ajali, remember I told you I'm in the process of buying a home. Yes, I'm moving out of New York. Mountain Dew salute. You're moving out of New York. That's a Mountain Dew salute right there. There you go. So I can't fly out there right now. I have to FedEx it. Gotcha. I haven't seen him in person since May of this year. So May of this year is not too much of a long, that's not a lot of time that you've been separated. It's a long time, but it's not a long. In the eyes of immigration, it's not a very long time. In your eyes, it's a long time. In my eyes, it would be a long time. But you're good. You're good. And I'm glad you're leaving New York. I'm serious. You keep all these, I don't know who keeps electing these Marxists into your government. It's crazy. I don't know why that's happening. America is a constitutional republic. I get sick when I hear this Democrats and Republicans say we're a democracy. We're not a democracy. A democracy doesn't have an electoral college. We're a constitutional republic with an electoral college, which means in a full-blown democracy, the popular vote would control the election, would control the presidency. That would be New York and California. Those combined, okay, would be running the show. But in a constitutional republic, we have an electoral college where you have, like New Mexico's got 5 electoral voters. Florida's got 30, I think. California's got 55. New York's got 50, I think. You have every state has an electoral college vote number. And the presidency, the election has to win each state. And the first person to get to 270 electoral college votes wins the election. So California and New York don't control the narrative. Who controls the election? All 50 states, including Hawaii and Alaska. Because Hawaii is primarily a Democrat-ran state, but they got electoral college votes. I think it's 5. Alaska, I think they've got like 5. I think it's 5. Okay, but the states that the candidates have to focus on is Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, okay, Georgia, Nevada. Nevada's got 5 electoral college votes. So you add up all the states. Everybody has their say. They vote. Each state counts up the votes, and then either Trump or Kamala Harris wins, and whoever wins that state gets those electoral college votes. So I'm sure Kamala Harris is going to win California, so she'll get 55 electoral college votes. I'm sure Trump's going to win Texas and Florida, so he'll get Texas's votes and Florida's votes, and you add them all up to 2. And once the first one to 270 wins the election. That's how it works. You may get asked that question on your U.S. citizenship interview. So whatever I tell you on here is going to be beneficial to you to remember for your U.S. citizenship test. Okay? I'm trying to prepare you. Remember, I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I don't like either party. They're both useless. Okay? I'm an independent. I go for the person that's actually going to do the job, get the job done as per the Constitution. I don't care what their party affiliation is. But Republicans seem to be the ones that mostly support the constitutional governance. Larry Piercy, so the Constitution means nothing to them unless they need it. The Constitution is irrelevant to Democrats and some Republicans. Okay? Look at some Republicans who endorsed Kamala Harris. Arnold Schwarzenegger endorsed Kamala Harris. He's not a Republican. He's a socialist. He came from Austria. Kamala Harris was raised in Canada under socialist ideology. Kamala Harris's mom and dad are Marxist. Kamala Harris hasn't got a clue about the Constitution. Apparently, neither does Arnold Schwarzenegger. So, to me, they're irrelevant. Anyway, guys, give me questions. K1 visas, green cards. What is the most difficult thing that you've had to endure in this process? Probably the wait time, right? You're probably sick and tired of waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, right? You're sick of waiting. And I understand. I was waiting for Karina. I was in Florida for almost a year. I decided to go live in Colombia for 2.5 years on tourist visas and a Colombian scheduler. So a Mountain Dew salute to the government of Colombia for giving me permission to live in Colombia for a year without my visa timing out, so I can be with Karina. Because otherwise I would have been only allowed to stay there for 6 months, but they let me stay there for a year. And Colombia, guess what they did on July 4th of 1991? What did the government of Colombia do on July 4th, 1991? They copied and accepted and ratified a complete basic copy of the U.S. Constitution. So July 4th of 1991, the Colombian government copied the U.S. Constitution and ratified it, and they became a constitutional republic just like we are. With, I think they have like 22 districts. We have 50 states. They have districts. So they have a U.S. Senate. They have a Colombian Senate. They have a Colombian Congress, and they have a president. But the difference between the Colombian presidency and the U.S. presidency is a Colombian president is only for 4-year term. They can only do one time. So the communist dictator of Colombia, Petro, okay, he's done after 4 years. He can't run for re-election. Duque, the conservative before him, could only do one term. Okay, then the Colombians decided they wanted to try socialism, so they hired Petro, and they're beginning to realize that was a big mistake. You know, Petro's friends with Maduro in Venezuela. They're like, I don't know if they're golfing buddies. I have no clue. Larry Piercy, incompetence is a killer. You're right. Come on, guys. Any questions on green cards, K1 visas, waiting periods? Isaac, are you still with us, or did you drop off the live stream? Do you have any more questions? Isaac, I'm going to help you. You're beneficiaries in Colombia. right? What part of Colombia does she live in? Where does she live? Do you understand that she has to have her K1 visa interview in Bogota? She has to have her biometrics in Bogota. She has to have a medical exam in Bogota. You know that, right? So if your beneficiary lives in Cali or Medellin or Cucuta or Chauachi or Cartagena or Santa Marta, she's going to have her interview done and her medical exam done in Bogota. You're going to have to put her up in a hotel for a little bit of time. Ajali, I have another question. Ajali, tengo una pregunta. Otra. So you said earlier not to fill out the I-134 too early. Yes, I did. When should I fill it out and send it to my fiance? Remember, the interview is Christmas Eve. I would do it today. I would get off this live stream, leave the live stream, go on your computer, fill out the I-134, sign it and date it, and Monday, send it to him FedEx. Because remember, it's got to go through customs. Okay? Ajali, what country are we talking about? Remind me of the country. Remind me of the country. Because when I sent, if I didn't FedEx anything to Karina, because I flew there personally. But if I had FedEx Karina the I-134, it would be sitting in Colombian customs for 2 weeks. It would sit in customs for 2 weeks before they cleared it. Remember, anything that goes through in the mail to Colombia from a foreign country, especially the United States, they're going to have dogs sniff it. They're going to put an X-ray through it. They're going to check it out. Dominican Republic, that's right, Ajali. On Monday, you need to FedEx him the I-134, okay? Get it filled out. Watch my video on how to fill out the I-134. Remember, he doesn't sign it, okay? If you are a beneficiary, you do not sign the I-134. Only the sponsor does, okay? So the question is it too early not to fill out the I-134? No, you're good. When should I fill it out? Fill it out right now or tonight. And send it to your fiancé on Monday. FedEx it to him. Okay, remember, the interview is Christmas Eve. Christopher Reese, I am back, so I did some research. Okay, great. What did you study? Ajali, the Dominican Republic. Ajali, look at the first super chat for November. Ajali gets the first super chat for November. Thank you so much. Enjoy your Mountain Dew. I got a little bit left. Look, can you see that? It's a little bit. Thank you, Ajali. We appreciate you. On Monday, get off the live stream, or if you want to hang out with us, hang out with us. But tomorrow, when you rest it up, fill out the I-134, sign it and date it, and then FedEx it to him. Okay? On Monday. He needs to get it there. Okay? You're good. Thank you so much. Enjoy your Mountain Dew. Thank you, Ajali. Christopher Reese. Remember when I said I don't think I made the income requirement due to being out of work? I did, in fact, make it. You're good. So that's good. That's very good. Do I list VA disability pay as income on the I-134? We don't on taxes. Go ahead and include it as income. Yes. On the I-134. Yes. Larry Piercy. Why what? Christopher Reese. I guess I'm garbage. I'm not Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm an independent. Okay. But I support Trump because he's a capitalist. He's an entrepreneur. Donald Trump created the New York City skyline pretty much. The new skyline from the 70s up. The Trump family have built New York City. He's created hundreds and thousands of jobs, especially in the service industry, okay, and in construction. Think about the hotels he's built in New York. Think about what he's done for the city of New York. He's done fantastic things. He's created so many jobs, right? And when somebody goes to work, what do? They pay income tax, right? They pay federal tax. They pay FICA tax, Medicare tax. So Trump creates a job for somebody. And what do? They pay tax to the government. So Biden benefits from the jobs that Trump created. How many jobs has Kamala Harris created? 0. None. Nothing. How many payrolls has she put together? 0. But she did say she worked at McDonald's. And I'm still looking for the evidence. I don't see any proof of her ever working at McDonald's. She can't say the name. She doesn't name the restaurant. She doesn't have any pictures of her in her McDonald's uniform. I don't know. I mean, if she worked at McDonald's, great. If she didn't, okay, who cares? But you got to remember, when you are going to be president of the United States, you better not freaking lie to the people. That's it. I'm not talking just Kamala Harris. I'm talking Trump, Biden. Don't lie to the American people. We will find out. And we will, throw water balloons at you if we find out. Christopher Reese, I'm independent as well. Larry Pearson, you definitely are. And Larry is out of crayons. Christopher, hey Larry, my dad is a retired Marine. Salute. He always used to pick on me and asked W. Christopher Reese, why didn't I join the big boy department? Larry Pearson, so I make you feel at home. Well, they do say that the Marines is what? The Marine Corps is the men's department of the Navy, right? Right? Larry, the Marine Corps is designated the men's department of the Navy. But it's Marine, right? It's not Marine, it's Marine. But what does Marine mean? What does it mean? What does Marine mean? I'll write it right here. M-A-R-I-N-E, Marine. There it is. That's Marine. That's the acronym, right? My ass rides in Navy equipment. But anyway, I've been talking for an hour. Jolly, we appreciate the super chat. You got November kicked off to Mountain Dews, so we can go to Walmart. So I'd go to Publix, but the price of stuff in there, I don't know. It's probably, maybe we should do some price comparisons between Walmart, Publix, and Winn-Dixie. And Jolly, I have a question for you. How far ahead should my pay stubs be and how many years of taxes? 3 years worth of taxes, 3 years worth of tax transcripts, 3 years worth of W-2s or 1099s, and 6 months worth of pay stubs. So if the interview is in December, you're perfectly good right now to get all this information together Monday, okay, and send it to them or email it. You can scan it if you want and PDF it to them. You can scan the tax returns, the W-2s, the 1099s, the tax transcripts. You can scan them and PDF it and email it to them into the Dominican Republic. Okay? But you got to have the original I-134 and the original letter of intent to get married. Okay? You got it? You can get your pay stubs now, Jolly. You go back 6 months. Just go back from November. So November, October, September, right? August, July, June. So go back to June of 2024. You're welcome, Jolly. Let's see here. Larry Percy, I actually love the Corps. Well, I hope so. You were a Marine. We hope you love the Marine Corps. I just didn't feel like getting up every day at 4 o'clock in the morning and running 5 miles before my breakfast to start my day job. So I joined the Navy. But then I found out I had to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning and stand 4 to 8 watches and mid watches in the middle of the North Atlantic at sea in rainstorms and heavy seas. Larry Piercy, I went transgender and voted twice. Well, you can't vote twice, Larry. You're going to go to jail if you do that. Doesn't matter what you are, you can't vote twice. Joel Adams, can you change the middle name on adjustment of status? Change the middle name? No. Only a lawyer through a legal action can change the middle name. You can change the last name on the adjustment of status. Karina changed her last name from her maiden name to my name. So she's now Karina Ross. Karina Ross. Okay? She changed her last name on page 1 of Form 485. Page 1. It says, what is your name? Karina, middle name Ross. What name did you go by before? You know, that means, translated for you so you understand what immigration is actually saying, what was your name before you got married to Diego? Well, it was Karina, middle name, maiden name. So they say, okay, so this is your maiden name. Now this is your legal name, Karina, middle name Ross. When Karina got her green card, it said Karina, middle name Ross. That's how she changed her name. Then what did she do? We went to the Social Security Administration with her green card and updated her legal status to Karina Ross, legal permanent resident of the United States. And then she got a brand new Social Security card in the mail 10 days later, or less than that, 7 days later, with Karina Ross written on it, with no verbiage saying that she no longer has to get permission from Homeland Security to work. She has permission. What is that permission? Her green card. Christopher Reese, Georgia is going to be a close one. Yeah, I'm sure. I don't see why, though. I mean, why would anybody want to keep paying $5 for a loaf of bread? You know, how much is it? Have you seen the price of top of the shelf steak? What's the best steak that you can get? The best steak you can buy. What is the best steak you can buy? What is it? What is it? It's like 50, you know the name of it, write it in here. It's going to be like $50-$60 for a little one of these cubes of steak. We eat that steak every day in Colombia. You know, it's like $3. Larry Piercy, there's going to have a huge barbecue cook-off in Orange Beach, November 11th, Diego. Orange Beach. Isn't that in Alabama? Rest easy, Chris. We got this. Well, yeah. Even Democrats are waking the hell up and they're going, why am I going to keep paying $5 for a loaf of bread when Trump was president? It was $1.25. It's economics. Democrats, Republicans, y'all like to have more money in your wallet, right? In purses, in your bank, right? You don't want to have economic problems in your family. You can't afford to pay for your freaking whatever, right? If you can't afford to pay, what changed? What changed? We got a new president, Biden. And what did Kamala Harris say? She doesn't think she's going to need to change anything that in going forward if she's elected president. Oh, okay, so what's the price of bread going to be in 6 months if she's elected president? $10. Even Democrats are waking up. Anyway, guys, more questions on green cards. Larry Piercy, LOL. Georgia's going to be close. I don't see why. I mean, I don't understand why people would vote for this person. You know, her ideology is no different than Maduro in Venezuela. Price controls, disarming Americans. She said she's going to come into your house and look for guns to make sure that you have secured them properly or whatever. She can't do that. She's got no authority to do that. Now, Maduro can do that. He's a communist dictator. We're a constitutional republic. And the reason I say these things is I'm not trying to sway an election. I'm not trying to tell you who to vote for. Vote for who you want to vote for. I'm just trying to get you to think. You are a foreign national coming to live in America, right? You want to be able to get a U.S. citizenship. And when you become a U.S. citizen, then you can vote. You got to think about who you're freaking voting for. You know, I'm voting for the guy that's going to bring down the price of groceries. Let's see. Larry Pierce, Christopher Reese. Oh, yes, the wait time is horrible. I couldn't stand waiting. I was in Florida for almost a year. Karina was in Colombia. We were separated for a year. It was horrible. I didn't like it at all. But that's part of the process. It's, you know, how strong is the relationship? Well, we're good. So we're not, you know, but some people, you know, the long lead time. separates the real relationships from the bad ones, right? Larry Piercy, check your blood sugar, Diego, you need to eat. I just ate half a plate of chicken. It was good, right? Karina, it was delicious. Christopher, one and done. Maybe the U.S. needs to try this. Career politicians need to go, the longer need to go. Yeah, I agree. The longer they stay, the worse they look out for the people. Well, they don't look out for the people. They look out for themselves. And Trump is probably the only president in history other than Washington who entered the presidency, who left the presidency in 2020 with less money than when he started the presidency. Okay? Think about it. Trump, he's a multimillionaire because of his hard work and sweat equity and his entrepreneur spirit, right? He got rich because he's a hard worker. He works 7 days a week. He never takes a day off. But when he left the presidency in 2020, he had less money than when he went in. He didn't even take a salary when he was president. When he was president for those 4 years, he didn't take a salary. He worked for free. He didn't need the money. He did it for the country. He did it for the country. He could have been, in Scotland playing freaking golf somewhere. But he didn't. He's doing this for us. Christopher Reese, DHL is the best to send to the Philippines. Yeah, I agree. The USCIS FedEx is horrible. I wouldn't say they're horrible. Maybe to the Philippines, I don't know. But DHL is contracted with USCIS. USCIS uses DHL to when your K-1 visa gets approved at the service center. Let's suppose it gets approved in California. Your K-1 visa gets approved in California. It goes to the National Visa Center. They check it, make sure there's no errors. Once it passes the NVC check in New Hampshire, they will then put it on a plane and fly it to whatever country. Manila, Islamabad, to Mumbai, wherever. And they use DHL. They have a contract with DHL. FedEx does a great job. I used FedEx when I was in Colombia. I used FedEx in Bogota. I had to send some stuff back to Florida. I used FedEx. But my friend in Medellin, he used DHL. He had to send stuff to my house here in Florida from Medellin. He used DHL. When I was in Bogota, I used FedEx. There was a big FedEx office on the. I said, oh, there is FedEx. It was the closest one. But Christopher, USCIS uses DHL for all overseas shipments. Larry Piercy, well, let's keep going to the I-751. Okay, let's keep going to the I-751. All right, guys, I'm going to log off. Today's Saturday. I'll be back. We'll be back on Monday. Okay, Larry said we got to do 3 times a week. We'll do 3 times a week. We'll be back on Monday, 6 o'clock. Thank you, Ajali, for that super chat. You keep us motivated. You're keeping us in Mountain Dew. And so is Larry Piercy. He does too, and Francois and everybody. We'll see you guys on Monday.